Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, first and foremost, thankful for this beautiful place that we get to work, live, and play in. Where this Board of Commissioners convenes, help them to do the work that is pleasing to you. You know what is in the hearts and on the minds of those that are present. We ask for healing for the sick, calm for the troubled, energy for the tired, and ease for the struggling. Today, we especially ask for comfort and peace for the John Dwayne family as they gather to say goodbye. Thank you for all that you have blessed us with, as we know it all comes from you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Bell.
Here.
Curran. Freeling.
Here.
Harrison.
Here.
Hinkleman.
Here.
Majerick.
Here.
Meeks.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Walrat.
Here.
Warfel.
Here.
Yarborough. Elliott. Nine present.
Nine present, okay. Our administrator has already told us about the sheriff. I would like someone to make a motion to amend the agenda to allow the sheriff to give us an urgent report.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Any questions? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Freeling.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Hinkleman.
Yes.
Majerick.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Walrat.
Yes.
Warfel.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Thank you. Sheriff, state your name and.
Good morning, everybody. Just give you a little update about the water break in Benton Harbor City. Been working with the mayor and the city officials all night, activated our emergency operations center. Ron Butch was there most of the night, working with Assistant Director Mike Clark, coordinating things. So we were working with Benton Harbor, the Health Department, the state of Michigan, and we thought last night that the water main would be repaired about between 2 and 5. Well, they had some problems because there was an unknown source of water filling up the hole. Early this morning, they found out where that source was coming and got it shut off. So right now they're down in the hole trying to fix the pipe and get that replaced. But after they fix that, that means all the water lines are going to, they're going to have to flush it. They're going to fill back up the water tower. So we're estimating at our best guess sometime between 2 and 4 this afternoon before water's back. Hopefully it'll be sooner. But that's saying that there could be more problems as they flush the line with shutting it down and trying to power it up. They may have another break, so we're hoping that doesn't happen. But the city is working way hard on that. BZ is doing the work down there, so they've been there all night long. I got on the radio last night about 9:30 with the mayor. The mayor updated the city residents about where the water main was that broke and that it was underground, so they didn't have any idea. It's just a break. That happens to all the cities. It just happens to be their main water supply. He also spoke with the state and St. Joe. They decided that they weren't even going to try to tap into St. Joe or Benton Township's water because they were worried about the different additives and was that going to cause a problem bringing that water there. So they decided that since they were going to be able to get it repaired within a day, that they wouldn't take outside water coming into their pipes. And then exactly where the break was going to be hard because the feed into their pipes were before the break. So they were going to have to do some things there also. So we do have places for city residents to go pick up bottled water. That is at the high school and at Bering County Community Action Center. And then at the high school, was able to work with Kevin Stack from the road department. They got a 200-gallon mule. It's a big tank that you put water in. And then we were able to get a hold of Kalen. They brought one of their water trucks up. And then we got from the South County a big pool that the fire department uses. So we're pumping and filling that pool up so we can just dip the buckets into there. So we will be doing that the entire time the water is out, so that people can come and get bottled water, and then also to get water that they can flush their stools with. So that will be going on to this problem is over. So it's been great coordination with Benton Harbor City, the Sheriff's Office, the Health Department, and the State of Michigan to get all this addressed. So that's where we're at, unless anybody has any questions. I know they just pulled in a great big flatbed truck full of bottled water. So we should be fine. They were bringing truck loaders over, but we were able to get, Zilke Towing has a big flatbed, so they loaded up, hundreds of cases of water. So we should be fine the rest of the day without running out of bottled water and waiting. So, but there's a lot of people coming up to get both. So we'll be over there. I have right now, I left there, I have Lieutenant Burks and the undersheriff over there helping with the water. So we should be set. Let's just pray that they can get that pipe fixed and that they don't have any problems when they turn the water back on.
Thank you, Sheriff. Commissioners, any questions? Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2021 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
And a support.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Any corrections, additions, deletions to those minutes? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Nay? Thank you. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, communications.
Yes, received 5 communications from Marion Michael of Niles regarding neighborhood and city of Niles. Of Denmark County Board of Commissioners resolution received on October 14th supporting amendments to the Open Meetings Act. Sarah Flutterby of Bridgman, email regarding the County Commissioner Facebook page received on October 15th. Muskegon County Board of Commissioners. Talking as loud as I can. We'll try it. Muskegon County Board of Commissioners resolution received October 15th supporting the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission's EDA Build Back Better grant application to the West Michigan Agricultural Technologies and Regional Food and Systems Initiative. Chrissy Kaufman of Niles, email received October 19th regarding public health.
Thank you. The next is public comments regarding resolutions on the agenda. You'll have at least 2 minutes to speak on that and identify yourselves by your name and your municipality. Oh, I'm sorry, requisitions. I'm sorry. Stop the public comments. Requisitions from Annette.
Wow,
I am so sorry.
it's okay.
Wait,
It's because I
it's the
didn't give you
hammer
the
and I'm
gavel,
not letting
right?
you see it.
I know. So the requisition list went out. I will note that on some of them, we were missing the reference number. So normally we use the requisition number in that spot. There are a couple on here that they need to be set up as a vendor first, or we're moving some funding to be able to get the requisition to go all the way through. But I didn't want to hold up the purchases one more week. So you will see them on here. I will make sure that the document that's actually filed in the clerk's office will have those actual numbers on it once we finalize all of those. Most of them, if not all of them, were approved by waivers. They were waivers approved by the finance committee prior to them being on the requisition list. So aside from that, does anybody else have any questions about any of them? No? Perfect. Thank you.
Now we'll do public comments. 2 minutes on requisitions that are on the agenda, and you shall identify yourself by your name and your municipality. Anybody for public comments on resolutions?
If you would do a public comment on a resolution, can you then do a public comment in general?
Not at this point. That'll be done later.
Later.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you had a particular comment on a particular resolution number, yes.
It looks like it's on there. If not, you can stop me, sorry about that.
All right, sure.
Amy Foster from Lincoln Township. Looking at a couple of these P211 numbers, which agree to me. The one thing that I just think you should address with the community, we're confused about what this Mosaic, I guess, related to isolation and quarantine of vulnerable county residents. That brings up a lot of things and fears, and I don't even know what it means. Maybe it's harmless and it's just for people that want to go there, but I think that needs to be addressed. And the second thing is, I guess, well, it's my comment, is that it's good that they're looking at tuberculosis, a much more communicable disease, and that's the kind of thing that should be looked at. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on resolutions? Yes. Feel free. No. Well, the reason is that we're being streamed live, and then people won't be able to hear you in the video world.
Oh, they can hear me, trust me. I have a loud voice, I've been told. Okay, so in regards to these consent, this tuberculosis, why all of a sudden they're starting to have surveillance and treatments of this? Do we know anywhere in Marion County where we're having an influx of the illegal migration coming up here in Marion County? Oh, I'm sorry. State my name, Vidette Cordes, St. Joseph, Michigan. Just curious, because if we're having a TB breakout, that's a very common sense question to be asking. Why all of a sudden we're having this issue? Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on resolutions? Okay, seeing none, we come to the consent calendar. I wasn't able to get around to the committee meetings because we had a full day in finance. Are there any of these resolutions that board members want pulled? All right, seeing that there is none, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make that motion, but are you going to include the honorary resolution, or are we going to do that after?
It's an added resolution, and I'd like to do the added resolution separately.
Make a motion for the consent calendar.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Any discussions at all? Seeing that there is none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Bell,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Najaric,
Yes.
Meeks,
Yes.
Borat,
Yes.
Learfield,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Now I'm looking for a motion to approve the added resolution B211-01940. It's an honorary resolution for John Dwayne.
I move that we approve that resolution. Support.
Properly moved and supported. Annette, I don't have the resolution here, do I? That's okay.
I think it's the last one on the pack.
Oh, I'm sorry, then my bad. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. My bad. That's two bads for me today. I'd like to read this into the record. Marion County Board of Commissioners Resolution B, as in boy, 211-01940, October 21st, 2021. Whereas John Edward Dwayne was born in Menominee, Michigan on January of 1940. And whereas following high school, he received both his undergraduate and Juris Doctorate degrees from the University of Michigan and served his country for 6 years in the Army Reserves. And whereas he and his wife raised their 2 children right here in Berrien County, where he practiced law for nearly 40 years. And whereas in 2008, he was appointed as the Berrien County Circuit Court Judge by Governor Jennifer Granholm, serving Berrien County well until his retirement of 2015. And whereas since his retirement, John Duane has served as both interim corporate counsel and special counsel to the Berrien County Board of Commissioners. And whereas his knowledge of law, work ethic, dedication, and professionalism is noted by many of those in the legal community and was a great asset to the citizens of Berrien County. And whereas beyond the legal community, Judge served actively on multiple boards and community organizations. And whereas sadly, the Honorable John Edward Duane passed away on October 14th, 2021. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Berrien County Board of Commissioners deems it appropriate to honor the Honorable John Edward Duane for the great man, attorney, and community member that he was, and express their deepest sympathy to his family. Be it further resolved that his life, actions, and contributions reflect most favorably upon himself, his family, Berrien County, the state of Michigan, and the United States of America. Be it further resolved, go blue. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Najaric,
Yes.
Meeks,
Yes.
Borat,
Yes, and go blue.
roll call,
Go blue.
Bell,
Yes.
Freeling. Yes. Scott.
Yes. All right, we're going to come up to committee reports. I'm going to go a little bit different now. I'm going to have John from Finance is our vice chair, and we're going to go with Finance first before we go with PHS and administration, because we have something for the board.
All right, so I'll be brief. We had, today Shelley White came in, and the ARPA funds have been approved, and Shelley has looked into what it is exactly we should do with the money. The money can be put into an account. We can utilize the interest in ways that, that the ARPA funds are very specific, but we can utilize the interest. And so she looked into what the best format would be for that money, where it should be best placed. It is $15 million of ARPA funds. She checked with 8 banks. The best bank that she came up with was an account where the money can flow in and out of the account, and it's 0.35%, 0.35 of 1% interest that can be earned on that money. And so she'd like to make the Finance Committee recommended to the full board that we move in that direction. And so when we get to the point where we're in other business today, we'll try to make a motion for that recommendation for the full board, because in order to open that account, the bank is asking that there be a clear motion in the minutes that allows for that to happen. And so that'll be forthcoming. Any questions about that before I move on? All right. Next, and we thank Shelley for her hard work. She's here, so you can ask, if you got any questions, you can ask her for that too. Next week, we'll come some recommendations. Annette came to us today with some recommendations that we'll have for the full board for some committee people. One on the trust advisory, Joe Wasserman. He's currently serving. We recommended that he continue to serve. On the land bank, Catherine Wykamp and Dale Crittner. In those 2 positions, they are serving currently, are doing a great job. And so we would recommend, the Finance Committee also recommended those 2 people. On land preservation, Dave Chandler and Lois Foster. Those people are currently serving and would like to serve again. And on Brownfield, Lee Vanderhoven. And so those recommendations will be coming to you for the full board vote for next week. And I think I got those right on that, didn't I? Okay. All right. Next, Dan Fitty came in, and Dan talked to us briefly about the water taxi route and what has happened. And as they have looked and previewed that project, it's come in over budget, like quite a bit. And so there are 4 locations. Ezra, did you have those?
I handed all those out to everybody.
Okay, so so if you have this sheet on there, if you have this sheet, there are 4 locations that, that basically the water taxi was going to stop at. And with the, we want to still continue to use those dollars. However, we can't get all the project done. And so the one stop that they are looking at taking out is the one that is actually in yellow. And am I correct in that one?
Yes.
The one that's in yellow is the one that they're looking at removing, and that would put us within budget. Dan was asked if there's anything that he can do to contact the DNR, find out if there were funds left over from other projects that maybe we could use to complete this. He said he was, we're trying to move forward with this project the way it is. Not likely that can happen, but we'll make the effort to see if we can do that. And so so that was what Dan had to tell us. And so so that's what he had to say. Next, Terry, I think I'll have you report on Chris and Jake Whitaker. They also came in today.
Absolutely. So we had Chris Leihart from IS come in before the board. Next week will be coming a resolution F21010345. This is with regards to the county's software system, BSNA. We contract with a number of our local units of government to provide the service. Since we started doing this in 2011, the calculations have sort of stated that it's almost a 60% saving across the board for all of those local units, and also for the county to be able to leverage this unified software system. And so that resolution will be coming before the board for approval for next week. And then Jake Whitaker came in for some bid openings. We had 3. One was for a 0-turn mower for the road department. We had 7 invitations sent out to bidders. We actually received 0 responses. So we've sent that back to the department to sort of figure out where they go next for either sending that back out for bid or what they would like to do. The next was an opening for an HMA overlay for Fairplain Avenue from the road department. It's bid number 2021-059. We sent it out to 4. We had 3 respond. We sent it back to the department for them to review it to make sure that it meets specifications. The bids range between $304,000 to $359,000. And so we sent that back and told the recommendation would be to go with the lowest bidder. And then the last bid that we had that was opened was again for the IS department, bid number 2021-052. This is for the county's copier leases. And we had 10 that we sent out to bidders, received 5 responses back. And they were really all across the board. We had some that we had specified to ask for a 3-year, 5-year, or the purchase cost. So a 3-year lease, 5-year lease, or the purchase cost of the equipment. And what we did was send that back to the department to be able to do the calculations, because some of the bids that were submitted had a cost breakdown for the totals and some did not. And like I said, they were across the board. Just for 5-year leases, one was $567 a month, and another one was $3,645. And so what we think is likely, we were given the cost per unit, but not the actual unit cost for the lowest bid. But we've asked for a department to review that and then come back with their recommendations to the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
And just once again, to reiterate, we'll be coming back in other business to make this motion for the recommendation to put the money in the bank. There will be a second flight of ARPA money coming. It's anticipated. And so don't be confused when that comes back. We'll take care of that separately. It'll require its own motion to get that taken care of. So you'll see that somewhere down the road. So that's our report, Mr. Chair.
Any questions for finance? All right, seeing none, we'll go to PHS. I know you're excited to get going here. I wasn't going to have admin do it. I'll go to PHS.
The most important committee met this morning. We had a number of items to consider. We had a good report from Jill Adams about various parks, where they're at, plans for some physical plant changes, some design work that they're looking at. And so good report from Jill and very informative. The Parks Board did meet last night. We also heard from our administrator regarding some of what you heard from Sheriff Bailey regarding the water system issue in Benton Harbor. And then we also talked a bit about vacancies at Marion County and some of the actions underway from the Human Resources Department. Then I'd like to clarify a couple other things regarding some questions regarding the Mosaic Contract. If we all remember, this is for essentially homeless people that have contracted COVID and have no place to go, where they can be isolated and quarantined. And so that is a renewal contract with Mosaic. And the second, with regards to TB, that is a renewal of a contract with Spectrum Health Lakeland for support services as a requirement of the health department. We actively monitor and treat individuals that have contracted TB. So no real outbreak, just a continuation of services that have been going on for a number of years.
Excuse me, Bob. And that's a continuous one that we've done before. And I mean,
Yes,
it's just it's an every year
type of thing.
That's what I just.
So they've got a new
public
attorney
knows.
at Spectrum.
Yeah.
So now they're going back through all the contracts.
Yes.
And so then we can expect additional contracts to come up for our consideration.
Yep. Thank you.
So that would conclude our report, commissioners, unless there's anything I skipped over. All right.
Any questions for PHS? Seeing none. Administration Committee, Dave?
Admin and Commissioner Curran's absence. I hope he's feeling well. He's home recovering, hopefully watching us today, but I doubt it. Our maintenance department was in, Robert Ray, in Building and Grounds, and he's got a couple pages of, you can imagine all the buildings we have in the county and all the repairs and things that are going on, end of the summer and fall cleanup, getting ready for winter. The maintenance crew has completed over 1,000 preventive maintenance work orders over this year, and they've completed over 4,000 work orders. Some of the highlights of issues that he's running into out there is at the Marion County Road Department. We've had a long-standing issue with the current fire system. That's going to be needed to look at really soon. The current system panel dates back to the 1990s. We've also, Herman and Getz will be giving us a schedule for the HVAC upgrades to the sign shop. And they're going to need to be addressing that along with the power source that's out there because, once again, we've got some aged buildings and aged equipment and aged things. And the boiler at the Niles Courthouse, they've had some issues with, and they're working on that down there. The jail, we've got 2, I guess, hot water boilers. One of them is not working. They tried to send the parts out. They're waiting to hear about it, but they don't anticipate. He doesn't think they're going to be able to be repaired and may have to be replaced. And that could be upwards of $15,000 for that hot water boiler. Right now, the custodial staff is working down with only 6 custodians. He's got several positions he cannot even get applications for, the current wage rate. And one of the common themes we heard from Mr. Ray all morning was our pay compared to others and not being able just to get people to put an application in based on the criteria we have. Some of the extra duties that they've had to take over since the COVID thing, they're still in the courthouse, cleaning and disinfecting after every trial, after the jury assembly room, the jury assemblies, all all the courtrooms clear out. They have to go in there and clean all these every day because of the COVID issues. So they're staying busy, real busy. And it was his first time visiting admin since being in charge. So he did a good job and we appreciate him a lot. I'll pass these around if anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Admit? Seeing none. Commissioner reports. Start with John.
Yes, just a brief update. Tuesday, we had Southwest Michigan Planning Commission meeting. And I wanted to make the board aware of an application that Southwest Michigan Planning Commission wrote a resolution of support for, that we are partnering with 15 other counties. We would be the 16th county for a grant application through the EDA partnership. That would be part of the Build Back Better grant. That is a part of the, I think, ARPA funding. It's tied into that. And what it will be focusing on is resiliency in our agricultural communities and food processing. So once that application has kind of come to fruition and I have a little more detail, I'll be able to forward that on to the rest of the board. In the meantime, I also want to make the board aware that we are coming into that cycle of the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission's annual awards. One of which is the Graham Woodhouse Award. And the Graham Woodhouse is about cooperation from local units of government and recognizing those efforts and awarding them the Graham Woodhouse Award for those applications. And so if you know of any of your municipalities that maybe had a project that would maybe rise to that level, you can go to Southwest Michigan Planning Commission's website and look into a little more detail of what that application entails. And certainly at the county level, I'd encourage us to think about what partnerships we may have and look at possibly submitting an application as well. So those are my reports. Thank you.
Thank you.
No report.
So I attended a Marion County Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting yesterday, along with our sheriff, Paul Bailey, and he gave us an update on what the county jail is doing as far as with quarantining and all things related to COVID, trying to keep our inmates safe from the virus. We also approved our year-end report. And we voted on our fiscal year 2022 budget, as well as we voted on our fiscal year 2022 contract review, which that will be coming to the full board for consideration in the next couple of weeks. I also attended a labor breakfast and some representatives from some of the local labor unions. They have expressed interest in coming to the full board, with an interest of maybe, working more with the county as far as capital investments and things of that nature. And I also attended a meeting with the governor's office, and they've expressed commitment to working with the county in this region of Southwest Michigan, regarding all things, whether it's COVID or budgetary issues or anything that the governor's office can do to support the county of Marion. So that is my full report.
Thank you.
Monday, Area Agency on Aging, we had our first full board meeting in person in quite a long time. We've had a lot of Zoom ones, but we did have that in person, and I hear we're winning another big national award, our Region 4 Area Agency on Aging, and also Lynn Kellogg's retirement coming up. I think her last official day is going to be December 17th. So she's been there 45 years. We'd like to get some kind of a resolution. We do have a yearly annual meeting coming up, I think about second week in December, where we can either do something there or have her come in here, which I'm sure she probably doesn't want to, but she's done a great job there and they're going to miss her, but she's going to be hanging around for a little while. Also, the agency they do their Meals on Wheels, serving a lot of the adult elderly folks in the county, 3 county areas. And with that, they were helping distribute the water. They got addresses and things for Benton Harbor, and were able to deliver a case of water each week to the people who, were getting the meals. So they were getting additional water in Benton Harbor as well. So they're helping out in that regard. Tuesday, what do we have Tuesday? Oh, we went on the tour of some more of our aging buildings down in the Marion Springs area. The less said there, the better. They're old and we need new. That's all I'm going to say. It's pretty bad out there. Some of it was not born, but built back in the 1930s. And once there's nobody in a lot of the areas. So once you move out, buildings decay and they deteriorate fast when there's no activity. So we know how that's going to go. And that's about it.
Thank you.
I had Parks Board yesterday, and a couple of things on that. At Madeline, Bertrand, and Love Creek, the annual deer hunt is coming to a close. So if anybody's interested in that, it's online. It is a registration process. I didn't even know we did that, but so that was fascinating to learn yesterday. At Madeline, Bertrand, they're going to go to winter hours starting November 1st, which means Wednesday to Saturday or Wednesday to Sunday. They're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Silver Beach bathrooms are closing up end of next week. So limited services down there. The seasonal staff, if I'm right, Brian, on this, the seasonal staff is ending end of next week?
I think so.
Yeah, fully. And then Glean River and Pawpaw River, which close in the winter. Don't know a date of when they're going to be closing yet, but it will be, hopefully you'll get about a week's notice of it. It depends on the weather, when the weather shifts. So, and then I also had Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency last night, which a lot of that meeting, which went very long, was surrounded by the water. The Community Action Agency is responsible for the water distribution. There are multiple locations distributing the water, but they are housing all the water. So when it comes in, it goes to their warehouse. It's distributed out. They've had to buy new forklifts. They've had to adjust worker schedules. They're working 7 days a week down there right now. It's absolutely crazy. She did report, though, that as of yesterday, 72,000 cases of water had been distributed, which was to 20,000 individuals and 3,000 households. So that's probably going to double today, I'm guessing, with the water main break. And there's like 4 sites, I believe, today doing just the bottled water distribution. So there's a lot going on with the water. So if, there's people coming in that are helping with the distribution of the water, they're coming in from Flint and other places within the state. But they need volunteers. They need volunteers down at the Community Action Warehouse on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I think, is when they're actually distributing the water. It's at other locations on other days. But you can sign up online on their website. If you got groups, anything like that, that can do it. They already know this will go on for at least the next 12 months, for at least the next year. So that's what they've been told by the state. Another news with the Community Action Agency, we just completed our year. We had a phenomenal year supporting, let me get to the page where it shows all the numbers. Maybe I didn't bring it, but supporting over 5,000 families between the 3 counties that they serve, which the majority of is here in Marion County. So we are their largest county that they service. Their online annual report will be online on their website. That's my report.
Thank you.
No report. Last night, Don and I went to Riverwood. And I went through their meeting, and they went over their budget, and because of the stimulus act, they're going to be ahead in their funding, which is the first time in probably 10 years. Last year it was pretty bad. They got a line of credit to just cover payroll. So it is, now they'll be funded for quite a few more years, we hope. And then they're going through the bills that's coming through the state. One of them is to reorganize mental health authority, where it would be taken out of the control of the Marion County and handed over to the state of Michigan. They would be getting rid of SWIMBA and everything, and the state will run the whole mental health. And that, I don't know it's going to go through, but they're looking at it right now. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. I have an exciting report for you, the most exciting you'll probably ever hear. I attended the Sewage and Septic Appeals Board. This is for people who their property does not perk according to the correct standards set up by the state of Michigan and the Board of Health at the Health Department. We meet with the contractors and the owners of the property. Our sanitarium team goes out, meets, they dig test holes. We try everything that we can to get something to work so that the people will be able to build a home on the property and put in a proper septic system. For those of you who really don't even think about that, there is a lot of new innovations in septic fields and septic systems that are coming out. And the nice thing about it is that our board has requested from different engineers to make us more aware of the different types of products that can be used. I know it's not the prettiest thing in the world to discuss, but it is very important because we want to make sure that we're treating the sewage in a proper way so it's good for the environment. So we did end up approving this after about an hour and a half. It's for a single family home on Kaiser Road, 80 acres in Sawyer, Chickamine Township. And I'm sure you all wanted to hear about that. Thank you. You get to top that.
No comments.
No comments. I'll be really. All right. Let's shut that right down. We've come to the point of general public comments. Speak no longer than 2 minutes, and please give your name or identify yourself and the municipality in which you reside. Don't everybody rush up there at once.
Good morning. Matt Belcher from Lincoln Township.
Oh, go ahead.
I just have 3 comments quick to make. A few weeks ago at the commissioners meeting on the beach, I think Ezra suggested rescinding the support for the Marion County Health Department health order. I don't know if that was done.
No, that's not, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's not what I had said. I said I was going to rescind the resolution that we had in supporting the health departments with recommendations.
Okay.
It was not to support the health order that they came up with afterwards.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure on the wording. Did you accomplish that yet or
No, it became a moot point after after everything that's happened. So
okay,
that's
I
why.
wondered if it was something that was moot or if it can be done symbolically or if it's just moot. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
The second thing is, and I think other people are going to mention this, is the quarantining policies of the schools. I'm not sure how it would look for the board to push back on the quarantine policies. But however it is, the quarantining has created a problem for the students. It's actually resulted the schools in needing to put masks back on the kids. So that wasn't happening before. And Lakeshore, one of the board members of Lakeshore actually admitted to us afterwards, he said, putting the mask back on the kids, he said, this had nothing to do with the mask whatsoever. We didn't even think about masks. We didn't consider masks. We just wanted to stop the quarantining. So I think what happened was we stopped the masks, then they created a new problem with quarantining. And in order to solve this new problem, well, we'll just go back to the masks. So to me, that's tricky. It looks fishy to me, but we're back to the original problem. So I don't know if there's anything the board can do to push back with the quarantining. And a solution, not just to complain, but a solution would be to just have the schools follow the flu policy, because the flu goes through the schools every year and a lot of kids get sick and a lot of kids go home and nothing actually significantly changes the school environment.
To 2 minutes, sir.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Amy Foster again from Lincoln Township. I don't have a ton to say today, but I wanted to ask about the progress. I'll have to follow up with an email regarding replacing Courtney Davis from the Marion County Health Department, and also questioning, is it true that Dr. Kabaltika will temporarily fill her role until a replacement is found? And if not, who will temporarily fill that role? Thirdly, what will you do to affect change at the Marion County Health Department regarding the ridiculous and constantly changing quarantine recommendations, which are now causing the schools to require masking again? Also, I would like to point out that Ms. Davis covertly met with the schools after the mandate was dropped. It's very shady, in my opinion. And then made them a non-data driven offer they couldn't refuse. Sounds like The Godfather to me. But anyway, she wanted kids in school to be forced masked so badly that she stripped away most of the quarantine requirements in order to force their hand. Her politicization, which is a hard word to say, of masking and mental toll she has caused parents and kids will not be forgotten. Please use your power and influence to fix this quarantine problem and ensure that Ms. Davis's replacement has more respect for parental and student choice. Also, if you could look into the Board of Health and the members' fitness to be on that board, it's time for some new blood and better qualified people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robin Graffinius, Lincoln Township. I know you're sick of seeing me up here, and frankly, I'm kind of sick of attending. So the only way to stop that, though, is to make things right. And going along with the two people that already spoke, I would like to say some of the similar things. I don't know how we can sit here as adults in this room and breathe fresh air when our children are breathing back in their CO2 and their germs, which are about to be even stronger, worse germs as we roll into the winter season. I think it's hypocritical and it's really disgusting. I have two children that are masked every day due to this ridiculous and I'm certain unlawful quarantining. So the rule was that they didn't, or the reason that this schools are using for quarantining our kids again is that if they mask them, they don't have to quarantine as many kids. So if I just can't get the logic behind that. I don't understand why they have to quarantine more kids farther out if they're not masked. We all know these masks don't really work. Sorry, no offense to you personally. And you're welcome to wear a mask if you want to. But to mandate that our children are masked every day just seems illogical to me. And I agree with Amy. I think that whatever you can do to control the health department, who has obviously coerced our school boards and our superintendents into changing the rules on us just so that she can continue to mask us, is absolutely ridiculous. So I hope that whenever these applicants come through and you're choosing whoever shall replace these two young ladies, that they have some common sense and allow the parents to choose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Robert Zanarski, Lincoln Township. I come to this board today looking for assistance guided by common sense. I have two kids at Lakeshore High School who are currently suffering under the mask mandate that we've heard about. The latest excuse from the schools that we just heard about is that we need a mask mandate because they don't want to shut down the schools due to excessive quarantines. The health department has set arbitrary rules stating if you wear a mask and get too close to someone who's infected, you're going to be out for a different period of time than if you were unmasked. The county traded mask mandates for quarantine mandates. Outwardly, it might make sense to some people. Wearing masks at school means less quarantines, but it's based on flawed logic. Because in general, kids are rarely affected by COVID. I have the actual numbers for you here gathered from the CDC just this week, because we have to put all this in perspective. And I'll give you my data and my sources. According to the CDC, there have been 513 total deaths from COVID in the US in the 0 to 17 year age group. That accounts for less than 0.1% of all deaths due to COVID. Let's put it in perspective. A kid 0 to 17 years old is twice as likely to die from pneumonia than COVID, 5 times more likely to die from suicide, 5 times more likely to die from a motor vehicle crash, 4 times more likely to die from homicide. Why are we putting these arbitrary quarantine rules on schools to solve a problem when it's comparatively not a problem at all? Masking is a solution in search of a problem. I think we're promoting this issue to appease a segment of society who needs to feel safe at any cost, even if it physically, developmentally, and emotionally is hurting our youth. Please put pressure on the county health department to lift these crazy quarantine mandates so our kids and teachers can get back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it going? Luke Andreessen, St. Joseph Township. I just wanted to throw this out there real quick that now they are doing, like, I was crazy a couple months ago for saying this was coming, but now they are doing the vaccine clinics inside of the schools, and there is a law or a series of rules, not legal, but they are using it regardless until somebody stops them, where 12 and above do not have to have parental consent to get the shots, which means there's going to be a lot of kids going home with the Fauci ouchie, and their parents are going to be super pissed. So children, even in the 12 to 18 range, how many kids are capable of making their own decision? This is why we have age limits for smoking and drinking and things like this. When you pull a bunch of kids into an auditorium and say, hey, kids, you can get the shot right now. Your parents don't need to know. We can do it right now. We can take care of it. Completely against the parental advisory. How many kids are going to do it, even if they don't want to do it? Of course, kids are very, very easily coerced. So it's already being done in South Bend. They're doing it in Buchanan now. This is completely unacceptable. We need to do something at the Marion County Health Department to stop this madness and at least throw this out there so that parents know. Like, if we can put out mass communications somehow to let all the parents of all the schools in all the districts understand that this is happening, so that maybe when those vaccination clinics are coming into the schools, that parents who are not comfortable with that can just have their kids stay home that day. So just for people who are not comfortable with that, right? Like, that should be just common sense, but I digress. So that's where we're going with this. That's all I really wanted to say today, is if we can do something about this, essentially what boils down to one little micro fraction away from forced vaccinations. So thank you.
Tony Benhart. So let's change the subject a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, the administration, Commissioner Kern asked the question why the road department manager's job was not posted on the county website. As of last night, it's still not posted on the county website. You have 60 days before the contract's up with Evermarsh and Chris Cook. What's going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about? Seems strange that we're waiting over almost a year since Jason left, and there's still no posting on the website about that job. It was stated that there's been no response to that job 2 weeks ago. If there's no posting for that job, how can there be any response? Something is not right.
Chris Failer, St. Joseph. I just wanted to say real quick, there is a lot of mention about with the masks and quarantine, how it's protecting safety. If it's negatively impacting kids, how is that protecting safety? It literally sounds like it's simply protecting fear. Again, I'm not trying to go against, a person's, how they react to different things, but I'm just saying, ultimately it should be about health. It's not about a particular thing you're doing. Like ultimately the goal is health. So if it's negatively impacting kids, it's not protecting safety. Okay. It's just following a protocol, and we need to focus on that because ultimately we're doing this for the kids, right? And everyone else.
Anyone else?
Darren Sheriff, Pipestone Township.
Should have known.
Last week, I brought up this legal notice of a public hearing that was supposed to happen today, which was in the paper, signed by Sarah Tyler. And as of this point, it hasn't happened. So what's going on here? I understand that resolution has been pulled, but I haven't seen anything mentioned about it or heard about it. So I think that you should at least tell us what's going on. Obviously, this meeting's not going to happen. So anyway, if it's about resolutions about Pipestone Township and the village, I would like to say thanks for pulling it. If that did happen, and I assume it has because this meeting hasn't been called to order or anything along that line. So, what's going on? Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I want to say something. Commissioner Meeks, I want to say something about this lead. I don't know, I passed this around. I don't know if everybody know what this is. The lead water pipe, that's what this is. And Julie know what it is. So I asked her about it. I said it's gonna make her retarded, and she said, you gotta run water through it. So she knows. But what I want to say to this right here, my son has got the contract to do all the lead water service replacements in Ben Harbor. He develops a system, he runs a cable through this right here, and he pulls a copper pipe from inside the house out to the shut off and then go to the street. Mm-hmm. So he came within the budget of the state, which basically that the city didn't have to come up with no money. He was way lower than all contractors. Like I say, he got them all. But when they made this pipe right here, they didn't make it just for Ben Harbor. What I'm gonna tell everybody, they made it. Brisbane got it, St. Joe got it. So it's not just a Ben Harbor problem. This is a problem throughout the country. This is a real big problem, and this only it's only selling half of the problem with just replacing it. You still got the galvanized lines within the house got replaced. Julie come up with something right there. Maybe it's Southwest Michigan Green Action. They usually can come up with something to help with their other costs, which I think is a good idea. But I just want to kind of set the record straight at the point. This is not a Ben Harbor problem. This is a problem throughout the whole country. So let's look at this a little different. I mean, and one other thing I want to say about, we need a authority. We got all these water plants at the point and the water coming from the same place. We need an authority for Marion County to run this water at the point. So I'm saying, this is something that we should look at this point. And as I hope that maybe I kind of educate a little on this, but my son has asked me to help him with this. And I'm going to help him with it. And this is a pretty big project. This is a project that's going to be going on all over the country. And Julie, it's not gonna make you retarded. Well, okay. Well, I don't want you to get retarded. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is the point right here, we need the commissioner get everybody the eyes on it. This is a problem throughout the whole country. Benton Harbor is experiencing some problems, yes. But the problem is just not in one place, because when they made this pipe, it went in many places. So the problem is in all over the country. So I'm going to set the record straight at the point right there. Let's address this issue, but the whole issue, this is not, when Benton Harbor gets the problem is still, it's gonna be, unless we do something about it. And then I'm coming to saying, to make the public aware at the point with this right here, this is in your community also. So it's not just Benton Harbor. Let's get this together at the point where we can solve this problem together. Not, this your problem. Don't go to Benton Harbor. Something's wrong with the way things are perceived. And I just want to kind of set the record straight at the point.
Is there anything the public can start doing now to help out?
I'm hard of hearing, sir.
Is there anything we can start doing now to help out?
Well, I don't know if anything, but I'm saying the thing is let people know that it's a national problem. Now, it's just starting here. It's been recognized because Benton Harbor has so many other problems. But let's solve the problem in all our communities. Right. Julie, I'm not gonna pick on you no more. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Don't throw it at me.
Thank you.
Heavy.
Well, you can pass around. They can see it. Some people don't know what it is.
Thank you. Just as a comment on that, a couple of years ago, the city of New Buffalo put in their new downtown area, and we replaced a lot of water lines and a lot of sewer lines. And it was really quite amazing because we dug up wooden water lines. They were made out of oak and they were still in the ground, and evidently they had charred them on the inside to seal them. But they took a section of that wooden water line and it's at the city hall right now. So
They were digging those up in Benton Harbor too?
yeah, but they were wooden water lines, if you can imagine. Anyway, all right, if there's nothing else, I'd like to go under other business. And we have discussed that just a little bit from John about bringing this to a vote amongst the board, which is something we need to get done, taken care of today. So John, I'll defer.
So as we had in our finance report, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of the finance committee regarding the placement of that $15 million of ARPA funds into an interest-bearing account that will bring 0.35%, 0.35 of a percent from the Sturgis Bank in St. Joe. And so I make that motion.
I'll support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Any questions?
It does require a roll call vote, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
it does. Any questions? No? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Hinkleman.
Yes.
Majeric.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Borat.
Yes.
Weirful.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Thank you, Shelley. And that way you'll be able to take care of business. Announcements and reminders. Has anybody got anything? I don't, other than our next meeting. We do have a broadband BC bit today. We are going to be having a closed session today with our attorneys. And I don't believe there's going to be any business that's going to be taken care of after we come back out of closed session into regular session. Other than approving the minutes of the previous closed session. So,
We only have one.
right, but it would be lovely to have you guys stay, but I'm sorry you can't. So we'll have to ask you to leave because we are going to go into closed session, and I would ask for a motion to go into closed session to discuss.
I'll make the motion to suspend this
Yes.
meeting so that we may go into closed session for discussing pending litigation.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, we're going into it, so. No, you can leave. No, thank you.
We have to do a roll call to go into closed
I
session.
know.
Oh, okay, well, come on, Paul, do your job, kick me out.
It's always good to hear Adolf.
What the hell are you saying? Oh, my job.
Let's see, that's what it's like here.
You carry this other for me, right?
All right, now that everybody's gone, let's do a roll call.
Yes. Did you get? Yes. Commissioner Freeling, I believe, seconded. Yes, she supported. I know.
Yes. Yes.
Borat.
Yes.
Clearfield.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Freeling.